There was a time when the annual Doctor Who Christmas special was a joyous occasion shared by millions around the world. Those were good times, much better times. Today's special was only celebrated by the social rejects who consist of degenerates, deviants, criminals, or criminals in the making, and generally the worst and most unpleasant people you could ever come across. The rest of the audience, at least for the Christmas special, is made up of people who may not have stayed in the loop about the trajectory of corrupt anal excretions the show's been on for the past 7 or so years, and think they're turning into Doctor Who of years past. Then they watched, with jaws dropped, at what they were witnessing. They want to look away, but they can't. They're transfixed. It's just so terrible. It's not too long before they are forced to tell their kids to leave the room, as this show is no longer appropriate for children. They are watching the collapse of civilization appear on their screens. But have no fear, my friends, the rest of the Western world is approaching the end of this era straight out of hell, except the UK. I'm so sorry, my friends, only 4 or so more years of this left. Hopefully you still have a country at the end. But back to the point. People are saddened to watch their former hero, now portrayed by a narcissistic, degenerate jackass who prances his way through the episodes when he's not crying at the sight of danger or trying to bang everything in sight. RTD's current reign of terror is so atrocious that many of us now refuse to acknowledge anything after 1989. We start with an image of what the UK will look like in a few years under its current leadership. We're at a hotel in Manchester in 1940 as bombs go off in the background. Perfect representation of modern Doctor Who. 2 toxic white people are hanging out, and one of the first lines uttered is a derogatory comment about gay people because, of course it is. Honestly, that's all Russell can talk about these days. Or he gave orders to Stephen Moffat, who has sold his soul to Satan, to make sure that it's one of the first things we hear. Merry Christmas, folks. According to the people in the bubble, it's still the 1980s. The old dude says it's the end of everything we hold dear. Oh, you don't know the half of it, white dude. You're in the UK. Then Dr. Nutty shows up and things go from bad to so much worse. The white folks are not impressed. Nobody is. This guy is the dictionary definition of suck, as the white folks give an understandable look of complete and utter disgust. Next, Dr. Nutty is off to defile the Orient Express in 1962 and will almost certainly lecture it about its name. Then he enters a white lady's car unannounced because these people don't believe in manners, where he offers her a cup of shady cocoa. God knows what he put in that thing. Then he's off to annoy people at base camp in Everest in 1953. He tries picking up a bunch of white dudes with an almost certainly not spiked pumpkin latte. Then we go to the linchpin of this year's tale of deviancy, the Sandringham Hotel. Whatever you do, don't go in without personal protective gear. God knows what Dr. Nutty has done. Then we are introduced to Princess Positivity, who's about to go medieval on the buffet, except the salad bar. Who wants that dirty greenery? Unless it's pretending to be meat. She asks for a room all to herself because she's single. We don't do couplehood, at least straight couplehood in modern England. That and she might have to share her deep dish pizza. Then we learn about Princess Positivity's less than stellar acting skills, and man, this is going to be a long hour. Then she discovers a fly, but decides eating it would be too much of a bother. It seems Princess Positivity is lonely as Taylor Swift fans get a glimpse of their future after the good old days are over. Karma's a bitch, yo. Then bad cosplay dude shows up as Princess Positivity is scouring the room for leftovers. Then Dr. Nutty shows up with his spiked latte and things get so much worse. Now we're in the future, where if these people have their way, only the elite white people will be allowed to survive. Oh golly gee, it's a time hotel. It can send people through time. Let me count the ways I don't care. Then Dr. Nutty shows up after a long night of banging, looking for more victims with his coffee, almost certainly of his own recipe. Then, oh no, this white dude has a briefcase. Can't have that. Meanwhile, this dude is absolutely and understandably disgusted by Dr. Nutty. Then he asks if the TARDIS is a toilet. Jesus, Moffat, you're making this way too easy. Nope, that's just Dr. Nutty's bang palace. Hand sanitizer not included. The disgusted dude asks if anybody else is in there. I tend to think there have been many people in there, and a look like that says, keep this man away from your kids. Then Dr. Nutty offers the disgusted dude some of his spiked coffee. Run! Now! Next, Dr. Nutty grabs the sonic phallic symbol and is on a hunt for the white dude with the briefcase while deciding whether or not he wants to investigate him or just bang him. Decisions. Then Dr. Nutty creepily grabs the disgusted dude's arm. Dr. Nutty is concerned that the white dude isn't doing anything. Well, that's more than enough to get you arrested in modern UK if you're a white dude. Then Dr. Nutty gets quite excited at the idea of a time hotel. So many more people to bang. Dr. Nutty says he wants to know why hotel rooms always have a door that's always locked. He's hoping that that's where the really freaky stuff happens. It also appears that the kitchens start preparing your food before you order it. Well, that should work out great for Princess Positivity. Bring on the pre-ordered mounds of cheesecake. Then Dr. Nutty heads off to give his special drink to Mr. Briefcase. Then Mr. Briefcase hands his briefcase to another dude, and it seems Mr. Briefcase was brain controlled by his briefcase. Then he proceeds to transfer his mind control powers to another dude. God help us if Dr. Nutty ever gains these powers. Then, disgusted dude gets taken over by the briefcase. Still less terrifying than what Dr. Nutty had planned. Then we get to revisit Dr. Nutty's creepiness at the beginning of the episode after he walks through one of the portal doors. This as the disgusted dude keeps repeating the episode's tagline. Quote, "Starseed will bloom and flesh will rise." Remember, this is supposed to be a kid's show. Then the briefcase is passed on to the bad cosplay dude so he can start going on about rising flesh and blooming starseeds too. And now Dr. Nutty has another target to bang as disgusted dude reflects on his terrible day, particularly his encounter with Dr. Nutty. Then he disintegrates as Dr. Nutty fails to save yet another person. Man, this dude just sucks. Then Dr. Nutty is back to revisit Princess Positivity while terrifying even more people in the process. Man, this dude's such a creep. Bad cosplay dude tells Dr. Nutty to take the briefcase, apparently unaware that only Dr. Nutty is allowed to do things without asking first on this show. Princess Positivity is not happy because she feels like she's in the way in her own room. You're always in the way, dear. Eat a salad. Then Princess Positivity starts complaining about men. It's not men, dear. Time for some self-reflection. Then she tells Dr. Nutty to stop being filthy. It's a bit too late for that, dear. Then Princess Positivity takes the briefcase. Well, this be a bad day for mind control. She can only move so fast. Then she starts hitting on the hotel lady. Yeah, thanks, Russell. And Puppet Moffat, we get it. Then, bad cosplay dude disintegrates because Dr. Nutty just plain sucks. Then Dr. Nutty starts to cry. Then he asks what happened to Princess Positivity. Plenty of ho-hos and very little exercise would be my guess. Then Dr. Nutty tells her she's being mansplained to by a briefcase. No, those weren't my words. That was in the script. This is followed by a general discussion about mansplaining, and y'all wonder why nobody wants to watch this crap. Maybe Russell could stop mansplaining. I'd be fine with that. Then Dr. Nutty exposes the starseed, and now Princess Zumi is at risk of blowing up. For the love of God, nobody wants to clean up that mess. Then Princess Positivity gets her self-control back, such as it is. Then Dr. Nutty uses the power of degeneracy to duplicate himself to solve the magic code. Then Dr. Nutty argues with himself over being generally horrible, and we breathe a sigh of relief that the censors didn't allow the cutscene where they proceed to bang. Then Dr. Nutty realizes he'll need the hotel room for an entire year, and the hotel staff come to the realization that they'll have to burn the hotel room at the end of said year. Then Dr. Nutty gets a job as a food server, which will be the subject of many a scandal and investigation over the course of several years. He also gets a mop and broom in hopes of disinfecting the various places he's been. Then he creepily thinks about calling Princess Zumi. Don't even think about it, dude. She's escaped you, you creep. So just leave her alone. Then we get a compilation of Dr. Nutty cosplaying to satisfy his many fetishes, while Hotel Lady looks on in disgust. Then Dr. Nutty asks her to take a chair because he'll bang anything. Whatever you do, do not eat or drink anything this man gives you. Then they ruin a couple's honeymoon while looking at the portal door. Don't worry, I'm sure Dr. Nutty will want to join in on the festivities shortly. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Then it's Christmas again, and Dr. Nutty gives the hotel lady the gift of taking his creepy ass elsewhere. It seems she has regrets and is now falling for Dr. Nutty. What the hell is wrong with you? Now it's Christmas Eve in New York, as Dr. Nutty has decided to bring his degeneracy overseas. Unfortunately for him, America has come to its senses. Then he walks through another door, and we're back to earlier, where the censors, once again, are forced to cut out a scene of him banging himself. And the magic code came from nowhere. Man, Moffat has really lost his touch. Princess Positivity then starts yammering on about starseeds and rising flesh. but must first recharge with a couple or 20 Big Macs. Keep in front because something's gonna go boom boom and it ain't the star y'all talking about. Then we get a scene where Dr. Nutty tells us how awesome Princess Positivity is. Yes, a big awesome. Dr. Nutty then says Princess Positivity is sad and deserves more. There might be some merit to the first part of that sentence, the second part not so much. She's had enough, man. Then she gets even sadder. Well, life is the result of decisions, dear. Second and third helpings are never mandatory. Then Dr. Nutty starts to be mean, and I continue laughing. It also seems her mother died of the disease of unknown origin from a few years ago. Perhaps it's time to ask a few questions about that. It seems that being mean defeats the evil suitcase. Hurt feelings. The suitcase can be beat by hurt feelings. Sounds about right. I can hurt your feelings with one simple word. Trump. It seems the bad people are weapons manufacturers, the same ones used many years ago because, let's face it, these people are incapable of coming up with anything new. If Starseed goes boom boom, everybody dies. Yeah, we should have guessed this is how the world would end, given the past few years. Then the effects department tries its best at creating a dinosaur to give the impression that it will take 65 million years to create their sex star of death. Then Dr. Nutty is upset that the dinosaur interrupted his speech rather than the fact that everyone is about to die. Man, this dude sucks in so many ways. Then it seems Princess Positivity is the key to everything because information was transplanted into her brain. As a reward, she gets more pie. But maybe not. It seems the disgusted dude is going to be the savior. Princess Positivity is happy about this because that would have been way too much work. The disgusted dude leads them to a sex dungeon, and many a dirty thought starts swirling around Dr. Nutty's head. Dr. Nutty needs rope to resolve the situation, and then reminds us that he's very good with rope. Good lord, just shut up, you freak! Then he proceeds to steal some rope because, let's face it, that's normal to these people in current year. Then he runs his stolen rope through the Orient Express because, again, Moffat thinks he's still clever, which opens the mystery door to the sex dungeon to reveal a much older Mr. Briefcase, which opens and, rather than maintaining a safe distance, Princess Positivity walks right up to it because she's an idiot. Then Dr. Nutty insults this woman's poor writing skills in the letter she wrote to her girlfriend. Yeah, RTD, we get it. And it seems Princess Positivity ate the sexy star and then becomes a star because she refuses to watch what she eats. Jesus, Moffat, that's just mean. Then she tells Dr. Nutty he needs to change. Forget about it, dear. He's far too gone at this point. She tells him he needs to find friends. Oh, trust me. He's had plenty of those. Then in comes Princess Zumi to remind us of the season nobody watched. The hotel lady gets a new job, and Princess Positivity becomes the princess star, and baby Jesus is quite disappointed. And Doctor Who will return to the excitement of absolutely nobody, after which time it will probably never be heard from again. Oh, what joy! And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, and follow me on the Spacebook Podcast where we talk about fun things. And until next time, piss off!